Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Superman and Lois Season 2 review series. And today I am going to be talking about Episode 2, The Ties That Bind, which I have just finished watching, and this show once again delivers yet another fantastic episode. And what I like about this episode in particular is it looks like they're definitely setting up for the main villain for season 2. So what I am going to do is I am going to give a little quick recap of what's happened so far, and then we're going to get straight into talking about episode 2. So basically what's happened so far is season 2 picks up 3 months later after the end of the season 1 finale, where we saw John Henry Irons' daughter Natalie arrive on this Earth, and now they are staying with the Kents. And also Clark has been experiencing intense visions, something that's connected to a thing that's going on underground. And we saw at the end of episode 1, we got a shot of tremors going on underground, and the last shot we saw was a fist punch its way out. Now, I said in my last review that I think they could be setting up Doomsday, and I also said that maybe it's not Doomsday, maybe it's something else, but it looks like, going by this episode, it definitely looks like we could be getting Doomsday. Now, I also said that Doomsday on a TV budget hasn't always worked, because we've seen it in Smallville, which, quite frankly, Doomsday, appearance-wise, was nothing great. But I thought the way they did Doomsday, keeping him in the dark and only seeing glimpses of him and a shot of his red eyes, I thought that was well done, because they kind of had some horror aspects to that. And Doomsday in the DCEU movie, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, yeah, he just looked like a mutated turtle from Ninja Turtles. Wasn't a fan of that. And I think the only DC property that's come remotely close to making Doomsday look exactly like Doomsday from the comic books was Krypton. Even though I've not seen the show, but I've seen pictures of Doomsday, I thought they did a tremendous job. So, going by this episode, it's a possibility we might be getting Doomsday, because we see something moving underground, but we don't actually see what it is yet. We hear some growling and things like that, so it's a strong possibility that we might get Doomsday as the main villain for season 2. But what I would like them to do, if they are going down the Doomsday route, is don't introduce him straight away. Build him up, maybe do the big reveal, maybe like the second to last episode, or maybe the season 2 finale, something like that. But I have all the confidence in the world that I think this show will do a good job with Doomsday, because so far, as I've said previous times, Superman and Lois has fulfilled and exceeded my expectations, and the show just continues to get better and better. So with that all said, let's get straight into it. Let's talk about episode 2, The Ties That Bind. So we see at the beginning of the episode, Lois Lane makes breakfast for John and his daughter Natalie as they are staying on the Kent's farm, and they wake up to lots of food like eggs, bacon, and all sorts of a big spread courtesy of Lois Lane. And Natalie tells Lois that she's a vegan, and then all of a sudden we see Clark drop his glass and fall to the ground as he starts to experience the same tremors that we saw in episode 1. He tells John and Lois that he has been experiencing these intense visions, and Clark tells Lois that he sees rocks crumbling and hears screaming. Lois tries to figure out what he is seeing and what is happening, and they both wonder if Jordan could be having the same visions. Now, originally when these visions first started, I actually thought it could have been J'onn J'onzz trying to get through to Superman, just like he did in the Justice League 3-part pilot, Secret Origins, where he was trying to communicate with him and send a message, and Superman got these intense visions. Turns out that's not the case, but we'll get to that in a moment. We also see Lana and Kyle set up for Daniel in town as he is having a special get together at the diner, and they run into George, who's also running for mayor, who's being snarky about having competition at the race. And we also see Sarah is still acting standoffish to Jordan, and they meet for lunch in the cafeteria, and Natalie sits with them, and we see Natalie and Sarah click right away. Now, Sarah's been acting a little bit strange, and we do get the reason why. Meanwhile, at the Gazette, Lois learns an old piece that she wrote about a woman has resurfaced, and Lois's editor asks her if she has coerced any of her sources. Lois is insulted and angry, and she vetted all of them, and her story was about a cult leader who turned out to be a murderer. We then see Superman comes face to face with Edge, and this is the first time we've seen him since the end of season 1. And he goes to him for help as we see Edge is sitting there like Hannibal Lecter with a bookcase of like a library of sorts, and with the red sunlight lamps on. So he's pretty much in Hannibal Lecter mode with a great big beard as well. We see Superman wants to learn more about his visions, and we see Lois and her editor head speak with a doctor about a recent earthquake, and a company who she works for is mining for kryptonite. She is very evasive about the tremors and, of course, the kryptonite. Daniel tells Lana he is dropping out of the race for mayor, and he's got a job that is better for his family. And Lois asks John to help figure out what caused the earthquakes and how she thinks it has to do with the mines. He will help, but he doesn't want to get in too deep because of Natalie, and he's retired the suit of armor. Clark arrives and reveals he's talked to Edge, and he isn't giving up much. Clark hears something and takes off, and we see at a hangar a man is holding several officers hostage with a machine gun. And Superman fights him, but realizes he is just as strong as him. And then we see the 2 new members of the DoD wearing Superman costumes take the big guy out, and we see Lieutenant Anderson call Superman a liability than an asset. Lois finds John at the mines. She's already looking into things, and Lana vents to Kyle about Daniel dropping out. And at school, Jonathan watches his teammates work out and cheering each other on. Clark talks with Jordan about the visions, and he wants to talk to Edge more about it. Jordan offers to help, and they both take Edge to his fortress in the desert in handcuffs, and Superman meets his Kryptonian mother for the first time, and Edge is angry to see her. Superman discusses his visions, and Lara offers some help to her son. Sarah and Natalie work on the car she and Carl have been trying to fix. They talk about Jordan. Sarah confesses she has a secret, and Natalie tells her she needs to figure it out and tell Jordan right away. Sarah agrees, and Natalie gets the car started. Lois and John enjoy coffee in his RV at the mines when they feel rumbling. It's another earthquake. And inside Edge's fortress, Superman falls to the ground once again as he starts to see the intense visions. Edge snaps off his cuffs and attempts to get close to Superman while he is down. Jordan steps in and uses his heat vision on him, and they begin to fight. This was actually a really good scene. Edge overpowers him until his mother begs him to stop and to be better. Meanwhile, inside the mines, there lurks a monster, and outside, John realizes it's more than just an earthquake. Something is down there, and we see Superman regains his strength and attacks Edge, and Lara yells for him to stop. Superman brings Edge back to his cell. Their mother sees good in Edge, and Superman confesses that he doesn't, but hopes he is wrong. Meanwhile, Lois learns that her sources from an old story has come forward and said they lied. And one of the sources was Lois Lane's sister, Lucy. Lucy was in deep and almost died from listening to this cult leader, and Lois swears by her sources and her sister. Kyle comes home. He has signatures for Lana to run for mayor, and she confesses she is ready to run as has already started the paperwork. Back at the farm, Jonathan tells Jordan about his day and their teammates benching a lot of weight at the gym. Natalie comes in. Sarah is here to visit. He meets her on the porch, and she tells him that she did something wrong. She kissed another girl at camp. Oh dear. There was this one time at band camp. I kissed a girl, and I liked it. And she explains that it just happened, and we see Jordan is hurt and doesn't want to talk to her. And then at the end, we see Clark and John sit with Lois as they talk about the tremors, and they all come to the conclusion that something is definitely in the mines, and it's not an earthquake. And that officially ends episode 2, and that wraps up my review. Overall, I thought this was an excellent episode. Nice to see we learned a little bit more about what's causing these tremors that Clark has been experiencing, and he came to the conclusion that it's definitely something causing it by a very powerful being. And we also see at the end that there is something definitely down there. So it looks like it could be Doomsday, but we'll just have to see, really. But the fact that they've hinted at something very powerful leads me to believe that it could be him. So we shall see. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode a lot, and very slow but very enjoyable build up for potentially a Doomsday appearance. So we shall see, really. But I'm really pumped to see where they're going to go with this in the next episode. So that's going to be it from me. I am going to wrap this up now. What's your thoughts on Superman experiencing these tremors? Do you think it could be Doomsday? And if so, what kind of role do you think Doomsday could play? And how do you think they're going to introduce Doomsday into the show? And also, what was your thoughts on Morgan Edge's role in this episode? Could he be tied to this mystery involving the thing under the ground? And also, what was your thoughts on Jordan getting involved and mixing it up with Edge? What kind of role do you think he's going to play in this story arc? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Superman and Lois Season 2 review series, where I'm going to be talking about Episode 3, which I am really looking forward to seeing, especially with the way this episode ended. Should be a very good one, and I'm really excited to see how Doomsday, if it is Doomsday, is going to appear in the show. So until next time, take care everybody and stay safe, and once again, as always, thanks for listening.